Zweig Group invites all AEC industry leaders to the 2024 AEC Small Business and Entrepreneurship Forum, the premier event for small firms in the AEC sector. Experience innovative strategies and insights on May 21st, crafted by Zweig Group's industry experts. Engage in keynotes and interactive sessions focused on recruitment, retention, and business growth. Join Zweig Group for this unique networking opportunity and take your business to new heights. Secure your spot today and be part of the AEC industry's future. Visit zweiggroup.com for more information. The Zweig Group team looks forward to welcoming you.
Welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcast, putting architectural, engineering, planning, and environmental consulting advice and guidance in your ear. Zweig Group's team of experts have spent more than 3 decades elevating the industry by helping AEP and environmental consulting firms thrive. And these podcasts deliver invaluable management, industry, client, marketing, and HR advice directly to you, free of charge. The Zweig Letter Podcasts, elevating the design industry one episode at a time.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilbur, and I'm excited to be with you today. As always, I have a great guest with me. I'm sitting here in front of Chad Clinehens, who is the CEO of Zweig Group. Chad and I are good friends. We met back in 2013, and we became fast friends when I came back to join Zweig Group for my second go at working with the company. And you know, it's been great to see the growth of this organization and company. Of course, you guys know I left in 2019, but still, I could never leave. I could never quit Zweig. And so I'm still here. Still working strong. And the cool thing is that my office is physically right across the street from Zweig's current office. And so I get to see Chad on a regular basis, although he's always on the road serving the needs of the design industry throughout the country. But it's just great to sit down and chat. And we're talking today about the Elevate 2022 conference, which is happening at the Green Valley Ranch Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. In September, it will be the 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's just going to be an outstanding event. And so we wanted to sit down with Chad and kind of get a little glimpse into this upcoming event, especially for those of you that are participating. Some of you might be on the fence about whether you should go. This episode of the podcast will be out well in advance for you to make plans to come and join Chad and me and so many amazing speakers that are going to be at this event, and some wonderful surprises that Zweig Group has in store for everybody that participates. So without further ado, I want to welcome Chad Clinehens to the podcast. How are you doing?
Wonderful, Randy. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We try to do it as often as we can. You're always on the road, but we've timed it up perfectly for us just to sit down and have a conversation today. So I would love for you to, give our listeners just kind of a glimpse into the Elevate 2022 event. And what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited that we're back in person. It was just a year ago that we were doing this podcast, and we were talking about possibly returning to in-person in Denver. We were able to pull that off, but I have to tell you, right up until the minute of, we were wondering if it would happen. But it was good to be back in person for the first time last year. And actually, Elevate last year was our one and only in-person event. This year, we've had all of our in-person events return, and we're excited about that. And we're extra optimistic about being back in the same place that we were in 2019, which is actually where we launched Elevate AEC, the conference, as a rebranded version of Hot Firm. And it's the largest space we've had. It was also really just a great space to have a conference, and breakouts and everything was together. We had a lot of positive feedback of that experience. And of course, when you're in Vegas, you have access to all of the shows and the entertainment. And we're really excited about the full program that we've got in store for our audience in September.
Yeah. And I know that, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, what people can't appreciate, I think, is that all of the planning that goes in behind the scenes. And I know everybody here at Zweig is all hands on deck, both here in the Fayetteville office as well as the Dallas office. And, you know, you've got folks all over the place. So how has everybody kind of come together to lend a hand to this event?
Oh, it's definitely one of those events where it's all hands on deck. And this year, you know, we've moved the conference back to when it was originally, which was normally in the September, early fall part of the year. During the last several conferences, they got pushed later and later due to just hotel availability. And last year, we were actually the first week of November. So now we're all the way back to the second week of September, which for us is a good time to have a conference. But I have to tell you, it kind of took our team by surprise this summer. And we're like, hey, we don't have until November. We've got, we've got 8 weeks left. And here we are sitting here right now. It'll actually be 6 weeks from today. We'll be wrapping up our final day of the conference.
Yeah. No, it's coming fast. I just got my tickets the other day. And like I said, I can't wait. I haven't been to an event since I think it was Dallas, which was that was the last Hot Firm event.
That was the last Hot Firm event. That's where we launched the Elevate the Industry vision. And it was that year that we said, okay, when we do our next conference in 2019, it's going to be Elevate AEC. Yeah. And that's where it is. But it's still the conference that has the gala that we model after the Oscars, you know, and the award winners are put on the stage and we celebrate in great fashion.
Yeah. You know, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And that's actually leads perfectly into my next question. Why is this important for design firms, right? Because I know, like, I've been involved with the industry since 97. I know you've had about the same amount of time, but this industry historically has never really been able to celebrate itself.
Right.
And that to me is one of the main reasons why a program like Elevate is so important, because sometimes it's good to just stop and smell the roses and acknowledge the accomplishments and not to, you know, rest on your laurels, but to maybe kind of get excited about what the future holds based on what you've done in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. It's both. It's different and it's important. And it really, I think what makes it different is the mission and the energy behind it. You know, when we launched the Elevate the Industry vision in 2018, it was a lot of things, but at its core, it's a recruiting and retention revolution, really. And for us, it was a logical, but somewhat of a magical evolution of Zweig Group's long-standing mission to drive performance and purpose in the industry. The value creation and transformation of firms through our numerous resources, really, that has elevated the industry. So when we launched this new big idea in 2018, we used John F. Kennedy's quote, "A rising tide lifts all ships," to paint a picture of what we're trying to do, working together to show the world the incredible impact this profession has on every human, and that, you know, now you can make a really good living doing this important work.
Yeah.
One of the pillars of that Elevate the Industry vision is to celebrate, because celebrating and celebration shows not only the people of your firm what they're doing is important, but it also shows the world that what we're doing is important, because we get a lot of social media traction, and those pictures of your team standing on the stage with your logo and, you know, on that gigantic jumbotron behind you, and that type of stuff circulating on LinkedIn has an impact.
Sure.
And it piques the curiosity of those that are maybe thinking about a career in AEC, those K-12, you know, that audience that's on social media also, and they're seeing these things. It's important.
Yeah. And you're right. And you have to start early. You have to think about the next generation that's going to come out and come into this industry. We were talking about it before we started recording, and it's like, even with like the women that are coming into the design industry, I think more women are matriculating through undergraduate design programs, both on the engineering and architectural side. And so that's why even programs like Elevate Her are so important to this industry, that people create awareness around that and create a place where everybody that's getting involved with this industry can thrive and grow from a career perspective.
Yeah. And Elevate Her as a recruiting and retention think tank is, even in just its third year, it's incredible to see the impact that it's having. And, you know, some of the cohorts have focused on taking that message and capturing the attention of the K through 12 audience, you know, and so it's really neat. And this year, we're really excited that the Elevate Her Symposium, which is the presentation of the outcomes and all the research and these big ideas that the 4 cohorts that were formed earlier this year. It's the first time it's been in person because the last 2 years it was virtual due to the pandemic. So we're really excited for them to be able to get on stage in front of a live audience and present these ideas. And this year, because it's the first in person, we're going to be joined by the cohorts of the 2020 and the 2021 classes as well. So it's going to be an incredible event, and we'll really kick off the Elevate conference the following day on Thursday with a bang.
Yeah. And it's actually like a conference within a conference.
Certainly.
So for people that are coming, I would encourage you to think about getting out there for that Wednesday event for Elevate Her. And then you can stay for Thursday and Friday and attend the full conference so that you can get the feel of the whole thing. And so I think that certainly is something that firms and firm leaders and owners should consider in terms of bringing teams out. Now, I did notice this year that there seems to be a couple of new awards that you guys have added to the mix. So I'm just going to go over the list of awards, some of which have been around for a while. And I love the Trifecta Award because that award is given to people that are added to the hot firm list. They are a best firm to work for award, which is an important award, which you certainly want to let people know about. And then there also is the Marketing and Excellence Award. So that's the trifecta. Then you have a new award, which is the Excellence and Client Experience Award. That's an important award.
It is.
How did that award come about?
So that came about through our partnership with Client Savvy, and our Best Firms to Work For award is the largest by far and the only actually employee experience award in the AEC industry in North America. Now there's a lot of little local awards like Best Places to Work of the metropolitan area, but Best Firms to Work For is the benchmark for employee experience for the AEC industry. We wanted to have that same kind of power and resource on the client experience side.
Sure.
So we teamed up with Client Savvy last year and launched the award. And I think we've got 42 winners of the award this year. So really excited to have that inaugural class on stage. And we're working on ways to refine that award ceremony where everybody gets their chance on stage, but they're not there for 3 hours.
Sure, right.
It's as big as the Oscars. It's not but it's not as long as the Oscars.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think it's important, right? Because we always, when Zweig advisors go out and the advisory team is meeting with clients, one of the biggest things that we talk about is, that client feedback and experience, right? And you can ignore it to your own peril. Yeah. Or you can embrace it and say, okay, what are clients really saying about us? How can we improve? Because there's always room for improvement, right? And that's participating in events like this and even being in an award program like this helps to expose any deficiencies that you might have and things that you need to work on.
Yes. And for us, the evidence and the research is compelling that the employee experience drives the client experience, but it's also reciprocal.
Yeah.
The client experience drives the employee experience. So if clients are happy with the firm, then the employees get that positive feedback.
Right.
And so they have a better experience. And so right now, when recruiting and retention and the shortages of the workforce are on nearly everybody's mind, having that connection and understanding of how we're serving our employees, how we're serving our clients, and what can we do to constantly drive improvement is so critical for business operations and business excellence. And that's for us, that's why none of these awards are just awards. They are based on data and excellence, and there's criteria to meet it. And there are winners and non-winners. And, it's an important aspect of being able to not just celebrate, but also have data that you can use to continually drive improvement in the business.
Yeah. And that data is important. And this is an industry. Most industries and most verticals are driven by data, but this is an industry where data really does matter.
Yes, absolutely.
And like I said, again, you can ignore it if you want to, but the numbers never lie.
Right. Yeah.
they really don't.
Yeah. So, it's absolutely critical.
Yeah. So, and then a couple of other new awards, the Top New Venture Award. And this award honors a group of fast growing startups on the basis of revenue and employment growth, as well as entrepreneurism and a spirit of innovation. How did that come about?
So that really came about when we were talking about what it means to be an entrepreneur in this industry, something that our founder, Mark Zweig, is very passionate about. And we launched that award several years ago, and it's gained momentum. over the years. And that combined with our Rising Stars Award, which was actually a program that lived within our Civil plus Structural Engineer magazine, we expanded that award to include the rest of the industry and give it the platform of the Zweig Group. And so now it, along with the Top New Venture, are awards that we celebrate during a luncheon ceremony that we have. So we actually now have two ceremonies, a luncheon ceremony and then an evening black tie gala to kind of give everybody their time in the spotlight.
So there's a lot of celebrating going on.
Lots of celebrating. But you know, the pillars of the event, we have said for years, is to network, to learn, and to celebrate. This year, we've actually added a new pillar that we think is so important, and that is to recharge as well. Yeah. Because, you know, we don't spend enough time on ourselves as leaders in this industry. And so to take 3 days off and to, you know, spend 3 days in an event like this certainly has a cost and opportunity cost, but it's so important. So we really want those pillars of network, learning, celebrating to be really, really powerful. But also we need to recharge. I mean, we work in an industry right now that's busier than ever. And to recharge or even to be kind of invigorated and inspired by what you learn and the people you meet and the celebration is so critical. So that fourth pillar of recharge, I think, is important. And, you know, the location where we are, we're not on the Strip where all the craziness is. We're at a real resort and spa, and the spa is like really incredible. So it is an opportunity for leaders to take some time for themselves. And of course, you know, we're really excited. This week we announced that the after party is going to be at Blue Man Group. So we will be busing the audience that stays with us Friday night for the after party to the Luxor on the Strip for the Blue Man Group show. And it's the early show, so they can then spend the rest of the evening on the Strip if they'd like and get some of that Las Vegas flavor. It's not for everybody, but it's certainly a fun place. And the Blue Man Group provides an incredible show, and that will be kind of a crescendo to a great event.
Their show is amazing. The sounds, if you sit in the first couple of rows, you've got to wear a little protective gear because it gets a little messy up there. But it's kind of like Marcel Marceau meets Gallagher meets like a really cool concert, you know? So it is very unique. And I encourage everyone to make time to attend that event. And the one thing that, like you said, the one thing that you are doing this year is the actual celebration event is happening on a Thursday night. So if people want to get back home on Friday and not have to wait until the whole weekend before they can get home, like on a Saturday, which has historically been how it's set up, that's a convenience too.
It is. And we got a lot of positive feedback last year, moving it to the Thursday night and allowing people to get home. And so the Blue Man Group is the optional after party for those who want to stay. And we're very thankful our sponsor, Corporate Tax Advisors, stepped up. And so now it's going to be a free event and included with the conference registration.
Yeah. Would you like to speak about some of the sponsors of this event? That I know CTA, Client Savvy is another sponsor of the event. Anybody else that really in your mind kind of stands out that you'd like to mention and just?
Oh yeah, we've got a whole list of sponsors that to go through here. Insperity is a new sponsor this year. We're really excited about their role, and in fact, Pete Hinojosa is their director of thought leadership. He's going to be our opening keynote speaker.
Oh wow! Okay.
But we've got Uninet, Deltec, Clayton and McCurvey, SES ESOP Strategies, Adafio, AEC Business Solutions, Emissary Recruiting Solutions, Lofty, and Vertex. So we've got some new sponsors, some veteran sponsors, just a group of firms that all bring a really great piece and play an important role in Elevate, whether it's through the knowledge they bring through breakout sessions or the things that they offer in the exhibit hall. It's just all of them are vetted to really be a part of what we're trying to do to elevate the industry. And so we're really excited and thankful for all those sponsors.
Yeah. And the cool thing that I like about it is, and we've actually had some of those sponsors, like we've had Vertex on the podcast, CTA's been on the podcast, Dawson Farraco's an outstanding individual. Uninet has been on the podcast. We got to get Client Savvy on the podcast.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I'm coming for you guys soon. And Adafio is actually, we are scheduling them for the podcast to talk about client solutions around cybersecurity, which is everybody's
hot topic
concern.
Yeah, it is. And they were a sponsor of our AEC Executive Roundtable that we did back in June, which is a fantastic event, ended up being a big success. And they brought some real important knowledge to the audience. And so we're excited that they're going to be at Elevate to be able to be, get that message out to an even larger audience.
Yeah. No, that's great. There is one award I do want to mention that we didn't mention before, and it's one of my favorite awards because I actually knew this person, but the Jerry Allen Courage and Leadership Award. Every year, I mean, that must be one of your hardest jobs, is identifying and deciding who that person's going to be.
It is an incredibly difficult process, but I have to tell you, it's also one of the most rewarding, just reading the applications that are submitted on behalf of these leaders. And I think most of the leaders don't know that they've been submitted for the award.
Yeah.
So just hearing what their people say about them and the impact they've had on them as individuals, teams, the rest of the firm is really incredible. And so one thing we started doing in 2017 is actually selecting the winner and not notifying them, and instead going in and secretly filming their team and actually talking about the leader. We put a video together, figure out a way to get the leader to the conference, and then surprise them with the award.
Wow.
And so we were able to do that in 2017, 18, 19. And in 2020 was, of course, Calvin Ladner, who had unfortunately passed due to COVID right before that virtual ceremony. But I actually did that ceremony live in their office.
Yeah.
Last year, 2021, we were able to do one live. And this year, we're very excited about the winner that we're going to announce. And
That's
the video,
awesome.
The photography and filming is going on as we speak right now.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, you're being very coy right now, which is fine. So,
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this and you want to see who the winner of the Jerry Allen Courage and Leadership Award, you need to come to Las Vegas, September 14th through the 16th. Join us at the Green Valley Ranch Resort, and there's going to be so many wonderful people there. And like Chad said, it is a place for you to build relationships. I've always said about the design industry is that it is an industry. I mean, yes, there are a lot of peer firms out there. I know there's competition. I get that, but there's also a lot of collaboration. I think more collaboration takes place in the design industry than in a lot of other verticals where people are mortal enemies. Like companies are like literally mortal enemies. So, I mean, just talk just a little bit briefly about the importance of that relationship building aspect and why the Elevate conference is such a fertile ground for those relationships to be built.
Yeah, that's the neat thing about Elevate. And really all of our events really have a tone of we need to work together to elevate the industry, right? Yeah. And I think that we as an industry have evolved beyond like, I've got to keep my strategic plan secret. I've got to like everybody that operates in my space as an enemy. And what you see at Elevate is, even competitors talking about their businesses and what's working, what's not working. And sometimes even, new partnerships are formed between what was previously competing firms. They're like, wait a second, we can work together.
Right.
And so there's so many neat things that happen through kind of the networking and just people getting together and talking about their business. And also sitting there learning something new together and then having a discussion about it. And then, of course, the energy that comes from celebrating together. Yeah. And you're cheering for, a firm that and you see that in the audience. It's like they're cheering for each other and they're cheering for them, their own people. And that is such a powerful environment. Yeah. That's positive. And it is what the Elevate the Industry platform is all about.
Right.
And we are stronger together than separate.
Exactly. Well, and it goes back to the JFK quote, rising tide. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It is a rising tide. And if you want to experience that rising tide, you need to come to Las Vegas, September 14th through the 16th, Green Valley Ranch Resort in Henderson. It's just south of the Strip. So like Chad said, it is a little off the beaten path. It's just about 10 minutes south of the airport. You don't have to deal with the Strip traffic, which can be insane at times.
Right.
It's just going to make for just an easier experience. And the great thing is that the Green Valley Ranch Resort is totally self-contained. Everything you need is right there. I mean, there's everything that's right there.
It's a true oasis in the desert.
It really is. It really is. So, I mean, there's shops. I mean, there's a cheesecake factory. There's a million different things that are right there.
It
so
really is.
You definitely will be able to take advantage of it. And we certainly hope to see you there. Any final thoughts before we wrap this episode of the Zweig Letter podcast up?
Yeah, I just want to say we're real excited about the Elevate Her Symposium. That'll be the pre-conference event. The cohort presentations there are some amazing things coming out of that. I can tell you through just some of the things that I participated in when we did the kickoff back in April. Some incredible speakers lined up at Elevate from the Trilon Group, Insperity, TMG Core, the National Organization of Minority Architects. Really great stage keynotes. We're going to have 16 different breakouts you can choose from, and we're also going to have 2 main stage panel discussions. We're going to have 4 of the number 1 best firms to work for on stage. All of them were number 1 in a certain category, and they're going to talk about what it makes to create what it takes to create a best firm to work for.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to have number 1, 2, and 3 of the hot firms, and they're going to talk about how growth solves problems, creates opportunities, helps alleviate workload issues, and really talk about the importance of growth and how they've accomplished that growth. So we're really excited about just the incredible depth and breadth of knowledge that's going to be shared, but also we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you bring up one final point is a simple reminder to everybody that there is nothing new under the sun. Everything that we've dealt with in the past, we're dealing with now. And I think it's important for people to recognize that there are firms out there that are a couple of steps ahead of your firm, and they have solved some problems that you're in the process of trying to solve right now. Mm-hmm. And attending an event like Elevate allows you the bandwidth and the chance to kind of think and process through some of the things that you're struggling with, that somebody that is similar to you in terms of makeup and size and technical expertise, they've already been through that. And you can hear from them how they overcame those challenges and issues. And a lot of times I've talked to firm leaders that have said, man, I walked away with being inspired. I walked away encouraged, and I walked away informed on what our next steps need to be.
I think it could be one of the most important things you do for your firm, not just from an optics standpoint of celebrating success and hard work, but also, like what you said, the takeaways that leave you refreshed, recharged, invigorated, go back and make an impact,
Yeah.
And it falls at a good time of year as a lot of firms head into kind of that mindset of Q4 of strategic planning or business planning, thinking about what is 2023 going to look like.
New beginnings.
New beginnings. And we certainly know that there's some changes in the economy happening. And I think our industry is going to be fairly resilient, but there'll be a lot of talk about that. And I think attendees will really walk away feeling like they have a good grasp on what's happening and what they can do to create the best change and positive performance for their firms in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be an amazing 72 hours. There is going to be a lot of information, but you won't feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. I mean, I think you're going to be able to pause for a second and reflect. And as Chad said, do some self-care while you're there and really take advantage of all that Las Vegas has to offer. And they even have a casino, is what I understand. So you will be able to leave a little bit of your money in Vegas, right? Because you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, even your money. So
it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way, but remember, don't hit when you see 17. Just stay still and sit on the 17. Don't take a hit. Don't be that guy or gal at the blackjack table that takes a hit when they have 17. So anyway, I digress. You're going to have an amazing time. I look forward to connecting with all of you guys there, and I'm even getting to share couple of new things that I'm working on with Zweig Group. So certainly you want to avail yourselves of everything that's going to take place September 14th through the 16th at the Green Valley Ranch Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chad Clinehens, Jamie Claire Kaiser, Phil Kyle, Chad Coldiron, Christy Zweig, the whole Zweig team is going to be there, and it's going to be a wonderful event. And it will be your one chance to certainly get to connect with all of these folks. And again, they eat, sleep, and drink the design industry on a regular basis, whether they're in the office or on the road. So they're the folks to definitely talk to. So I encourage you to come out and be a part of what Zweig Group's doing at the Elevate 2022 conference and the Elevate Her symposium that will take place the day before. So remember, September 14th through the 16th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Green Valley Ranch Resort.
And I'll just say, everybody's busy right now, but spend some time with your peers, investing in yourself and your company as we celebrate success and elevate the industry. That's what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see all of you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chad. Well, folks, that's another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. To learn more about one of the oldest newsletters in the design industry, visit zweiggroup.com. You can read articles online, listen to this podcast, and sign up for a free subscription to the newsletter and have it delivered right into your email inbox every Monday morning. Make sure you sign up today. To get more information about Zweig Group's advisory services or any Zweig Group publications, visit zweiggroup.com. You can also subscribe to the Zweig Letter Podcast wherever you listen to it, and please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Zweig Letter Podcast. We hope that you can be part of elevating the industry and that you can apply our advice and information to your daily professional life. For a free digital subscription to the Zweig Letter, please visit thezweigletter.com/subscribe to gain more wisdom and inspiration, in addition to information about leadership, finance, HR, and marketing your firm. Subscribe today.